Okay, great. So welcome back to our community call. We do this the first Tuesday of every month. Just a quick reminder, while today's call will be a little bit more casual with more room for open forum, if you're ever interested in presenting what you're doing with Kong or a plugin you wrote or a personal side project related to our community or Kong, reach out to Kevin or myself. We're first name, last name at konghq.com. And we'd love to get you set up. It's really fun to share what everyone's doing, and it would be an honor to have you on the call. So exciting news. Today we're going to go over some introductions, which we just did. Thank you. We'll talk a little bit about Kong 1.2. Harry is going to demo his side project decK, and then we'll leave room for open agenda where everyone can talk about their projects, side projects. If you have any questions for Kong engineers or community managers while we're on the call, kind of anything that comes up. It'll be more like a casual roundtable discussion than anything particularly structured. As everyone will be hearing about soon all over the internet channels, Kong 1.2 is released today. So congratulations to our team pushing that out. Great news. And last community call, Thibaut went through and did a demo of what was coming out in 1.2, as well as a preview of 1.3. That recording is online on our community call page, so you're welcome to review that as well. All right, and then I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to hand this over to Harry for his introduction on decK.
Awesome. So let me share decK. So decK is it started as like something to solve a problem on a side problem that I faced when I was working at SAP. Previous to Kong, we had this Kong configuration problem where we wanted to declaratively configure Kong, and Kong is backed by a database. And only recently we have started supporting a DB-less mode where you can put in all the Kong configuration in a file, and Kong can start up without a database. So I built a decK. It's a small Go thing. decK is also something that backs our Ingress controller today. It's quite powerful by itself and has a certain set of features, and then tries to solve really the configuration problem around Kong of how to export Kong configuration, import it back, diff it, sync it, reset it. So here's going through the feature set real quick. You can export all the configuration that's inside Kong. So be it your routes, services, upstreams, certificates, whatever consumers you have, everything you can export it out. You can import that back into Kong. And so that's like the basic feature set that any declarative configuration tool needs. And from that's where like diff and sync capabilities are what are really the most important features in this project, where you can make some change in the config file and then see and keep the config file as the source of truth, and then figure out, okay, what's different between the config file and in the database, right? So you can see that. And also, if somebody changes and goes ahead and changes the database, we can figure out using the diff functionality of decK, or if something changed which was not supposed to change. There are some recent features that have been released in decK in the last month or so, where we allow you to declaratively configure Kong for different teams. So if you're working in like an enterprise environment and you have like different set of teams, each team would like to manage their own Kong configuration, and decK allows you to do that. So yeah, that's like, I think that's enough talk, and it's very hard to wrap around, okay, what is Harry talking about really here? So I'm just going to go to the terminal and just start showing you what actually it is. So can you guys see my terminal? Awesome. All right. So we have like a two-phase demo here. So let's see. So decK is installed. decK version 0.4. 0.4 was released yesterday by me. It adds in support for Kong 1.2, right? So decK is compatible with 1.0, 1.1, and 1.2. And after 1.0, we have this compat promise, so it's easier to maintain decK for these versions. So just printing decK help will give out a little bit of a verbose output. So here's are the available commands that we are talking about, right? So basically, first you'd like to do a ping to verify connectivity with Kong. You can use decK dump to export configuration, sync to sync it back. You can also reset the configuration, and you can diff it. So we're going to go over these step by step, right? So I have a Kong 1.2 cluster running. So if you do decK thing, you can connect to a Kong cluster. decK also supports things like authorization and authentication. So if you are using one of the auth plugins in front of Kong's admin API, you can configure decK to supply the API key or basic auth credentials. Or if you're using Kong Enterprise, your RBAC details and tokens can be specified using decK. So decK takes care of those things. So right now I have a empty Kong cluster, but I'll still go ahead and do a decK reset. What it does basically is something similar to Kong's migration reset. So it will wipe out the all the entities, which includes consumers, routes, services, plugins, upstreams. Everything will be just cleared out. Next, we have a YAML file, which is our source of truth, right? This is what we want our configuration to look like, right? So what is declarative configuration? Essentially is you want to specify what the configuration should be. You don't know how to get there, right? There might be some services already in Kong, there might not be some services in Kong or anything like that, but what you want really to do is give this file to Kong, tell it, okay, I want a service named service1 which proxies to mockbin.org. It should have a basic auth plugin enabled on top of it, and this is the configuration of basic auth. We have a route associated with that service. Route basically means a request would come to Kong, and based on route properties, it would be matched and then forwarded to the proxy, right? Which is to mockbin.org. So here we have a route which says any request that starts with /r1 should go to this upstream mockbin.org, right? And then we also have another plugin which is at the global level, right? Like you can see, there are different indentations in this YAML. So this plugin is the Prometheus plugin. Let's say we are running Kong inside a Kubernetes environment or anything that is Prometheus monitoring available, and we would like to run the Prometheus plugin for each request that is proxied via Kong. All right, so we have this configuration. So I'm going to do a decK diff, right? And usually you would supply this state file, right? I refer to this as a state file, and I diff it, and it tells me what it would do to get to the declarative config, right? So it says it will create a service1, service2. It will create a route. It will create a global plugin, which is the Prometheus global plugin, and it would create a basic auth plugin on service1, right? So let's say we sync this up, right? So we do a decK sync, and all these services and routes and everything are created. So let's go ahead, and I have a Kong running on 8001. So I'll go ahead and look up, and we can see that we have two services here, right? We have service1 and we have service2, right? So let's go and see service1 routes, and we do have a route running here, right? So all good. We have got everything set up, right? Now there are two features, right? Now let's say you check this file into your Git repository and you want to change it. So what you would do is, okay, maybe you want to start accepting HTTP protocol on this, so you add that here, and maybe you want basic auth plugin to be actually be enabled, right? That was enabled to false means Kong would actually not run it, right? Let's see that to true, and we also want to run this on HTTP port, right? So now let's see, we do a decK diff, right? So what configuration is changed? So now what decK does is it compares the configuration that is inside Kong's database and the configuration that you have specified with kong.yaml. So here we can see that we have specified that enabled was true, changed from false to true. We added the protocol HTTP to this auth plugin, and we are accepting this HTTP protocol inside the route, right? Let's go ahead and sync it up, and if we do again diff, it won't say anything, right? So now if I go and look at plugins, we will see that the basic auth plugin will be running on HTTPS and HTTP, and it is actually enabled, right? So it can go ahead and figure out, okay, what changed, what did not change. Another important reverse sync is another important feature that we support. Is, let's say we create a foo service, right, in Kong. Let's say example.com. So we created the service, but we have not added it to our Kong YAML file, right, which is our source of truth. So now if you do a deck diff, it will tell you that decK would delete this service because it does not know about this service at all. So if we go ahead and do a deck sync and then do services foo, you'll say that it is not found, right? So once you do deck sync and you do deck diff, decK would just completely eliminate or delete whatever you have. So this allows for, like, a declarative way to configure Kong and using Git operations. So maybe you have, like, a GitHub repository tracking this configuration, and you push changes to it, and then you have like a CI job which actually configures your Kong in different environments and so on. So that allows you for like a pretty simple config management style of things, right? Next, I have something up is like taking this up a notch a little. So what I'm going to do is again reset my configuration. Let's pause here for a second. Do you guys have any question? Awesome. Okay. So no questions. That's good. So so we are going to do a little bit of distributed config management, where let's say you have like a few different teams in your enterprise, and you would like to manage configuration across all those teams. So your solution is maybe ask each of the team to send a PR or to a common GitHub repository, which works. But sometimes what we want is if you have like a microservice based organization, you would want to have config management also in a distributed manner, where one team can manage its own configuration in Kong and it does not impact any other team, right? So here we have introduced something called select tags inside decK, right? So what decK tags is a feature that was shipped with Kong 1.1, which allows you to add in more metadata around your services or routes or any Kong entity. So you can have key value pairs, or you could have like just basic configuration. This team owns this. If the service breaks, what should happen, and this is like a gold level consumer, a silver. So basically, any kind of metadata that you would want to add, you can add using tags, and that's what we are using, right? So here we have select tags in decK, which means decK will manage only entities which are tagged with these two values, right? It says managed by decK, just so that anybody who's looking at that service can know, okay, this is managed by decK, and this service everything in this file belongs to team 0. Like, and team 0 can be either your front end team or your back end team or whatever. And then we have a team 42, which is exactly like a very similar file with some tweaks, and in that we say, okay, this config is also managed by decK, but the team 42 is responsible for this. So now what you can do is you can do a diff of team0.yaml, and it will say it will create those files. So let's now sync this up. So we will sync this up. Now let's do a diff of team42.yaml. It will sync that up. Let's sync that up. Now if you do a decK diff of team0, you get nothing. But team 0 and team 42 can be in different Git repositories, right? At this point, you do not need to actually worry about anything. Team 0 can make changes to its Git repository of Kong configuration without having to worry about team 42. It's not even aware that there is a team 42. So if I do a diff, it can correctly check that and sync that, right? If team 42 goes on and creates or deletes something, team 0 doesn't need to do anything. So it's like completely separate, two separate entities. You can also do something called decK dump, and then it would create something called kong.yaml, which has all the routes and services and all configuration that belongs to both the teams. So you can see here we have team 0, and we also have team 0, team 42. Right, so we have services and routes for team 42 as well. So it allows you for a distributed management of configuration. And that's about it. You can export configuration, import configuration. You can sync your configuration to Kong. You can diff it to Kong. If you make any manual changes inside Kong and do not make those updates inside your YAML files, decK will detect those as well. So it's like one single source of truth for you. And yeah, and this is also something that is powering our ingress controller. That's what it uses behind the curtains to detect diffs and sync whatever Kubernetes configs we have to Kong. And yeah, that's all that I have.
Cool. Any questions or comments or thoughts from the community?
Yeah, hi Nitish here. Am I audible?
Hello Nitish, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Doing good, great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. So I have a question on this sync and what I was thinking about is when you said if someone do the configuration in the dashboard and we do the diff from the local, so it detects that there is a difference from the from what we have in local file and in the cloud or in the dashboard. So that decK will be able to take those changes in the existing file, or how it will work.
Yes, so if you make any changes in your database and you don't make those changes in the file, it will reset those changes that you made in the database. So what you do?
So is there any way, if suppose due to some production issue, we did some manual configuration in dashboard, and now we want to keep it as a part of file as well. So how we can do it automatically?
Yeah, so you can do that automatically as well. So what you would do is basically make those changes inside your manual changes inside COM, and then run decK dump, right? A decK dump would basically export all of your existing, like the current changes you have inside COM and put that into your YAML file, right? And then you can get those reviewed or keep that as a source of truth. So initially what you could do is you can set up Kong manually, or if you're having production issues, change those manually, and then do a decK dump and then put that into a file. So it serves as a backup purpose and as a source of truth as well.
So we can then in future we can use that file as a source of truth and do further changes on top of that, right?
Correct. Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
So this all works with the ingress controller also, Harry?
Could you elaborate? What do you mean exactly there?
Like right now, whatever you showed is DB-less or with the DB?
So decK is purpose built for the database world, right? The DB-less world, in the DB-less world, Kong already has a declarative configuration, right? So you would specify a Kong config file, and that config file would be loaded by Kong in the DB-less mode, and so you don't need to actually manage the configuration at all, right? Your config file would be the source of truth. The format of decK's config file and Kong's config file is same, right? You need to add one format version property inside the YAML file I showed you, and you can supply that to the DB-less Kong mode, and everything will work fine, right? So we are decK is compatible with Kong's configuration format. This primarily is for the database world where you want to diff things and keep things in sync together. Does that answer your question? I think we lost them.
How
Did we lose you,
they are
Nitish?
maintaining their own ingress resources. So if you want to pull the entire information to YAML format, then we can use decK and pull it. Is that correct?
I think we
My
lost.
understanding.
I think we lost you. Could you repeat your question once more?
Okay, then not a problem. Then we'll again one more time we'll read through the documents and then we can post it.
Okay, yeah. Feel free to post on Kong Nation. But if you're using the ingress controller to configure Kong, you can configure it using, keep configuring using that. It uses decK behind the scenes. But if you want to configure it once and then pull all the configuration out using decK, that's also possible.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments? Nope. Okay. Well, Harry, do you mind unsharing so I could take the screen back?
Yes, I think, yep, there you go. You're all set.
Okay. Share. Here we go. Okay, so we are in our open agenda portion now. I'd love to hear from the community what projects you're working on, how you're using Kong, if you have any questions, anything burning on your mind, just want to check in. Anyone want to go first? I'll start calling on people. Nateem, your first time on the call, I believe, or the first time I've gotten to interact with you. How are you using Kong, and what's really exciting to you about your project?
Yeah, you're asking me to Mitesh, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So this is our first journey. For me, it's like a week to start Kong. So I'm started learning about it, and so right now there is nothing from my side to share with you. So how to start? We'll first learn it, and then maybe we can share further with you guys.
Great. Sounds good. Yeah. Anyone else? How about Gaston? Are you in a place where you can chat, Gaston?
Previously was in an ungodly environment.
Ungodly environment. Okay, then I'll give you a pass on this one. Yeah. Daniel, how's it going for you? Anything exciting in your world right now?
Yeah, we're learning every day with Kong. So we're dealing with projects with our customers, talking about the new technology. We are more deeply into more integration projects. So Kong, and in the context of the Kubernetes, is something new for our customers. So we develop the whole ongoing about the topic, and that's quite interesting to see the evolution of the product and the evolving of the community. So it's quite good.
Great, great. Yeah, and for the new folks, Daniel, do you mind sharing a little bit about what your company does or how your team, what your team's building?
Yeah, we are a solution service provider in Germany within CodeCentric, and CodeCentric offers different services. This integration part is one of it, and we normally do individual software development. So everything the customer needs and that's why we choose Kong to bring it also to my colleagues and say you don't have to build it on yourself. Just take this and use it within the custom projects and see what goes on with it. So
cool.
We are on the track.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Cool. Is there anything you've built recently that you're either excited about or proud of?
Yeah, were proud of being part of the Kong Partner Collective in Barcelona. So it's so good feelings, getting to know each other. I missed you directly at the Kong Collective. I only heard from Michael that you were also in Barcelona. So.
Yep, I was there for KubeCon. So I was there at the show on Thursday, and Friday I took a pass on work. Sweet. Well, I'm glad you had a great time at the Partner Collective. I know our partner team did as well. They're pretty blown away by how everyone showed up.
So this was one of the things to have good in mind and think about it.
Absolutely. Cool. Anyone else want to share what they're doing, or do you have like any questions at all for any of the Kong engineers that are on the call? If not, we'll wrap up early. No?
I mean, this is Kevin, the developer advocate for Kong. I just kind of want to share that we're doing more and more events around the world. This coming month, we're doing 2 meetups in China, one in Beijing and one in Shanghai. We'll be at KubeCon China.
One in Lisbon.
We have another one in Lisbon. We have another one in Korea. We're going to be at Japan. So we're trying to bring Kong and our open source engagements around the world. So if you have a meetup you want us to participate at, or you just want us to visit the city and collaborate with us to create an event, we'd love to talk. You can always reach out to me at kevin.chen@konghq.com.
Yeah, and kind of to piggyback on that, if you're excited about what you're doing with Kong and want to share that in a meetup format, we're happy to support you both through promotional stuff, a little bit for infrastructure, and can help make that happen. Yeah.
Hannah,
Uh-huh.
I realized that there is no meetup in Brazil, and I'm in São Paulo, which is the biggest city, and I was thinking about starting one.
Great.
If,
That sounds wonderful.
If there's anything you can help, I would. It would be nice. And Claudio is here. I think about talking to him. Maybe he can
Yeah.
speak.
Absolutely. Yeah, great. I have your email, so I'll send you an email right after this.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And I wonder, speaking of Brazil, is Hisham on this call by any chance? It's his birthday.
I don't think he is.
So here's a recorded shout out to live on our website of eternity. Happy birthday, Hisham. Yeah.
Yeah, just to wrap it up, one thing I think for those people who joined in a little late, Kong 1.0 is coming out today. I think 1.2 is shipping with a lot of really cool features. Support for wildcard SNIs, where you can, if you have like a wildcard certificate, Kong will serve that on wildcard domains. Previously, you had to configure each and every domain. You can now configure Kong to send 302 or 30 like HTTPS redirect. So if you want to accept traffic only for on HTTPS protocol, if that's possible. You can also there's a lot of performance enhancing stuff. So Kong can rebuild the router. It is backed by asynchronously. There's a lot of DNS improvements where a lot of cache warm up can happen. Very two cool new features is we have two new open source plugins. So proxy caching, which is if you want to cache responses from your upstream services. It was an enterprise feature previously, and now we have open sourced it with 1.2. So you can use that, back it with Redis or back it with Kong's database and serve cached traffic to speed up your APIs. And then we have also we had a request transformer plugin inside enterprise, which was a little more feature packed than the open source one. We have merged those together and released that as well. So and then there are a number of performance enhancing improvements in 1.2. So do check it out. The release is, I think, almost live or is in the process. And yeah, check out the Docker images, check out the changelog, and looking forward to hearing more from you guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Harry, for going over that.
Mm-hmm.
So last bit. Oh, is there a question?
Hannah, one question from me. Like, we are trying to set up this distributed environment. So I heard Daniel from CodeCentric. So we may require some help or some discussion. So can you let us know what is the best way to reach to you, to CodeCentric team?
The best way to reach me is via mail. Sven already has my mail address, so just contact him and he will forward my email address to you. But I'm also in contact with some of you, with Sami already, so there is already a conversation about with you or with your company.
Okay, with Samir.
With Sami, yeah.
Okay, then it's okay. Then we'll be in touch with you. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Cool. So my last thing to plug here is Kong Summit. We are having Kong Summit 2019 in October 2nd and 3rd here in San Francisco. This year, we're focusing on building the next era of software. So APIs, microservices, and mesh for the hybrid world. We currently have our call for speakers still open. So some of you might have caught at the beginning of the call that Dennis Kelly, who is now a Kong employee, was speaking at Kong Summit last year. So that could be you someday if you'd like. We're also looking to nominate women in tech to speak at our conference. Currently, we're doing a promotion to nominate strong female leaders in our community on social media, so keep your eye out for that. And if you're a Kong champion or interested in becoming a Kong champion, we'll have some very special events for you as well at Kong Summit. And thank you. So I'll be posting this recording and some notes to our community call page on the website later today or tomorrow. Kong Nation, our forum, is discuss.konghq.com. That's a great place to ask questions. And our next call will be July 9th. If you'd like to participate in this call by, showing a demo or even just talking a little bit about what you're doing, get in touch and we'll be happy to help you. All right. Have a beautiful Tuesday. All.
See you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.